Hello and welcome to the 10-Minute Manager. In this tutorial we're going to discuss the utilization of reports through the 10-Minute Manager. Best place to start would be to click Reports on our main menu, which brings us up into our Report Center. In our Report Center you'll see there's 4 major reports that we can produce. Let's start by visiting our wage report. On our wage report you'll see our company name at the top, wage report for the week starting with the date there. We have our staff names listed on the left-hand side, together with their employment classification, full-time, part-time or casual. Moving across, we have the week that we're reviewing, Monday through to Sunday, and a weekly total. So if we look at Jay over here, we can see his permanent part-time. His net wages on Monday were $220, $140 on Tuesday, $160 on Wednesday, $220 on Thursday, $220 Friday, and a total of $960 net paid to him for the week. If we go to the bottom of Monday, we can see our total net wages, and we can see our total net wages for the week at the end here. Below our net wages, we have our allocated superannuation, our allocated work cover, and our allocated sick and annual leave. Okay, the 10-Minute Manager makes an assumption that all hours worked accrue superannuation. This isn't necessarily the fact of the matter. In actual fact, your employees need to work a certain amount of hours to actually begin accruing superannuation. But as we're working on the worst case scenario, all hours will be allocated superannuation. As is the case with sick leave, you'll notice that sick leave will also be allocated. It's not always the case that your employees will utilise all of their sick leave, but we certainly take this into account when budgeting. Okay, and right at the bottom we have our gross wages payable, which include your super work cover, sick and annual leave allocations. Just at the bottom here we have wages as a percentage of net turnover, and you can see that because they're all highlighted in red, they haven't met the KPI that was set for wages for that week. We have 34% on Monday, 30% on Tuesday, 29, 27, 32, 21, 30%, which gives us an average of 29.63% for the week. If we scroll down, we get this represented graphically. We have a graph here that shows our gross wages on the blue bar, our net wages in the red. Below here we've got work cover, superannuation and sick and annual leave allocations, and that's done for Monday through to Sunday, so you can see some brief trends that you may have in wages paid. So that's our wage report. If we return to the report center, we can now have a look at our KPI report, and what you can see here on our KPI report is our gross turnover for the week. And we have all the items highlighted in red that haven't met their KPIs. You'll see here that wages did not meet their KPI. Your overheads as a percentage of turnover are all okay. Your net materials, Monday we had 90%. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday were fine. And the percentage of profit didn't make the 20% by just a little bit. It was around 19%. This particular report is a great tool when you have to sit down with the manager at the end of the week and discuss what went wrong and what needs correcting. What I do recommend to you as a business owner or a manager is that you review this report on a daily basis and make changes for the following day so you don't continue making the same mistakes. Our next report is our covers report. And what we have here is the amount of transactions that we had during the day. So the cafe had 100 transactions on Monday, 3 transactions for catering on Monday, and our bar had 5 transactions. And just below here, it calculates your average spend in each department. So $22 for the cafe, $36 for the catering, and $22 at the bar. If we scroll down, this is also represented graphically. And we have our covers in a bar chart here, and across here we have our average spend for each day. So the cafe Monday through to Sunday, catering Monday through to Sunday, and the bar Monday through to Sunday. If we scroll back up, we can return back to our report center. And probably the most useful of all these reports is our productivity report. In our productivity report, we have our revenue listed up the top. You'll see Monday, we have our total net turnover, Tuesday all the way through to Sunday, and then our total for the week. We also have a gross figure for each day, which will include your GST. We have our wage expenses, so net wages, super, work cover, sick and annual leave. And we also have our KPI target here and whether or not it has been met. We have our GST expenses, our GST collected and our GST paid, and the net GST. We have a list of our fixed expenses. Now, as this is only an example, it's an incomplete list, and I would probably imagine that your fixed expenses would probably be a lot more than what we've got there currently. We have our total expenses calculated here, and we've set a KPI target of 20%. We met that with 16% in this example. One that I like to keep a very close eye on is our materials expenses. And you've got your net material expenses for Monday, Tuesday, all the way through to Sunday, and your total for the week. And the percentage of net materials over turnover. So we've got a 90% spend on Monday. We obviously ordered very heavily on Monday. Tuesday 31, 27% on Wednesday, 27% on Thursday. Friday is 31%, Saturday is 31%, and Sunday is 3%. That brings our average down to 34% for the week, which met our KPI target of 35%. Now, net profit, you can see on Monday, the store went backwards in the order of $925. On Tuesday, it made a profit of $462, and as you can see, it continues to make a profit all the way through to Sunday. The profit for the week was $2,937, which was a 19% profit over turnover, which was just below our set target of 20%. Okay, one reason that that can be attributed to would likely be our wages being slightly over. If our wages were where they needed to be, we probably would have made that 20% profit over turnover. This report can be easily printed by popping up to your Windows menu and selecting print. Alternatively, it can also be emailed if need be. So let's return back to our main menu, and from the report center, to get back to your main menu, you click return again. It brings you back to the main menu for the 10-minute manager. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial.